You know what nobody tells you about recovery? It doesn't feel like progress. It feels like you're doing nothing. And for a high performer, that's the most terrifying place to be. Welcome to Daily Power Boost, Ignite Your Potential, the podcast where your transformation begins. I'm Sean Michael, and each day I'll bring you quick, impactful insights and action steps to fuel your personal and professional growth. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone ready to break limits and ignite greatness, this is your daily power boost to crush obstacles, stay focused, and awaken the extraordinary potential within you. Because remember, greatness begins within. Let's go. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. Last episode, we talked about reclaiming the room you shrunk out of, creating space in your life, your calendar, and your mind. Today, we're addressing what happens next. Because here's the hard part. Once you stop running, once you create that space, once you finally start resting, your brain panics. It tells you you're falling behind, that this stillness is stagnation, that real leaders don't slow down, they scale up. And suddenly, the rest you fought so hard to protect starts feeling like failure. A few years ago, I was learning something most leaders resist: how to say no and mean it. I'd started setting boundaries, real ones, saying no to things that drained me, taking time for silence, actually resting instead of just collapsing. And for the first time in years, I had margin. But instead of relief, I felt restless, like I was supposed to be doing more with this space, like all this room I'd created should be producing something by now. I'd catch myself checking my phone, scanning my calendar, looking for the next thing to fill that gap. Not because I needed to, because I didn't know what to do with that stillness that didn't lead anywhere visible. I'd learned to protect my boundaries, but I hadn't learned to trust what happens inside them. And that's where most leaders get stuck. Here's what I didn't understand then. Real momentum doesn't always look like movement. Sometimes momentum is maintenance. It's the quiet work of letting your nervous system recalibrate, letting your body remember what safety feels like, letting your mind defrag from years of running on adrenaline. But maintenance doesn't photograph well. It doesn't make a good LinkedIn post. It doesn't feel like winning. And your brain rejects it. It says, this isn't progress. This is just existing. The truth is, you can't build the next season on the fumes from the last one. Every athlete knows this. You don't go from one marathon straight into the next. You recover, you rebuild, you strengthen the foundation so the next effort doesn't break you. But leaders, we skip that part. We sprint from one launch to the next project, to the next crisis, and we wonder, why do we keep hitting the same wall? Because you never gave your system time to integrate what you learned. You just kept adding more weight to a structure that was already cracking. So let's reframe what momentum actually is. Momentum is not always forward motion. Sometimes it's about depth. It's letting the last season's lessons sink in. It's processing the grief, the wins, the losses you never stopped long enough to feel. It's asking, what do I actually want to build from? Not what the market wants, not what your old identity demands, what you want from the version of you that's emerging, not the one that's burning out. And that question, that takes time to answer. And that's exactly what we're unpacking tomorrow. The permission shift, how to lead without proving. Because the version of you that's rebuilding can't keep performing for approval. You're gonna have to learn how to lead from worthiness, not validation. But first, let me land today. Here's the quiet rebuild practice. Today, I want you to write down one truth. Maintenance is momentum. Say it out loud. Let your nervous system hear it. Then ask yourself, what part of my life right now feels like just maintenance, but is actually rebuilding me? Maybe it's the therapy sessions that don't feel productive yet. Maybe it's the mornings you're not hustling. Maybe it's the fact that you're finally sleeping through the night. That is not stagnation. That's foundation. And everything you build next will stand on it. The leaders who last aren't the ones who never slow down. They're the ones who know when to stop and rebuild. Because momentum without maintenance, that's just another word for burnout. And you didn't come this far to break yourself again. This was the quiet rebuild, why real momentum feels like maintenance at first. Next episode, the permissions shift, leading without proving. Because the next level of leadership doesn't require your performance, it requires your presence. With Strength in Heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.